Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have quite a number of topics for you for this video, but I will start with the words from the speaker of Russian State Duma. His name is Vyacheslav Volodin. What he just said as a reaction to how the West is discussing about using or not using the weapons, directing them towards the Russian cities, deeper into Russia, right? What Dmitry Medvedev say, you already know. He goes straight to the point, but those words from the speaker of the Russian Duma are important to pay attention to. He says, "This discussion can lead to the most terrible consequences. They are," meaning the West, "they are discussing strikes on our peaceful cities, and they are discussing this while thinking that it will not affect them. This is not so. We will retaliate. We have the means of retaliation. More powerful weapons are kept ready. Targeting and command execution will in this case be performed in conjunction with satellite clusters by NATO personnel." This means that NATO is being completely involved in this conflict. "I would like the politicians of European countries to understand where the leaders who do not have the support of their people are steering them." Because, this is getting serious, everyone, and we might think, nothing's gonna happen, which I pray for. I believe nothing's gonna happen. But it just takes one idiot, one stupid decision to change the course of many people's lives. And I came across, before I was getting ready, preparing for this video, to record this for you, I was coming across statements from Robert Kennedy Jr. as well as Don Jr., son of Donald Trump, how they are saying to Biden and Harris to simply talk to Putin, which I don't think it will, of course, take place, especially Biden. So, guys, let's pray that they will not self-destruct and commit the suicide, meanwhile deciding for our lives. And when things like this are taking place, sometimes, for me, I just say from my experience, I look at all of this from a spiritual standpoint, and I say to myself, you know what, I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and the soul never dies. So if I am meant to end this life by some idiots who do this, then my soul will go on, and probably maybe to a better, higher dimension. On the higher dimensions and higher frequency, I have some words from Sergei Lavrov. This is from one second, let me find this. It's right here. This is from, it was kind of like a press conference, and there are two questions that were asked that I have for you here. It's from Russian News. Russian News is a YouTube channel that has been deleted by YouTube. I think it had almost 200,000 subscribers, but they are back on YouTube again. So you will find the links down below in the description box. Just subscribe again, because you have the translation from Russian into English with a speaker who is reading this. So the question that Sergei Lavrov, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, has been asked, the first one is, what do you think about the latest sanctions that the United States has imposed on Russian media, including Russia Today? And how do you comment on Blinken's call to treat RT as an intelligence service? This is a very serious accusation, and Sergei Lavrov answers, well, the presidential press secretary Dmitry Peskov and the official representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and many other officials and politicians have already spoken out on this matter. I will not repeat myself, I will only say that George Orwell had a very rich imagination and historical foresight. But of course, even he could not imagine what a totalitarian state would look like. He described some of its contours, but he could not penetrate the depths of the totalitarianism that we are now seeing within the framework of the so-called rules-based order. In fact, I have nothing to add. Of course, he has been outdone by the current leaders in Washington who simply suppress any dissent. This is pure totalitarianism, and McCarthyism was also child's play, as it turns out. I hope that all this is clear to independent observer who closely watches what is happening in the world and how the United States, together with its satellites, is doing everything possible and impossible and unimaginable, sorry, hard for me to pronounce, to stop the objective process of forming a multipolar, fair and democratic order. They need democracy only to give instructions to different countries on how to organize life there. And as soon as you tell them, let's discuss the democratization of international relations, then you will have any conversation, an order based on rules. But this is all doomed. This is obvious to any person. Historically, they are doomed, and this course of history is accelerating. Now, the second question, which is a really good one, was what does Turkey's desire to join BRICS initiate? And actually, there is more here. Yes, this is a country that, this is the question still, this is a country that belongs to the NATO bloc, and what will its possible ascension affect? This is kind of question that I have asked in my last live stream, Scott Ritter and Larry Johnson. So Sergei Lavrov answers, it is difficult for me to explain the reason for the Turks' appeal, but perhaps a few comments are appropriate here. Firstly, as I just said, there is an objective, historical, unstoppable process of forming a multipolar world order. Secondly, it is clear that BRICS, with its rapidly growing authority and reputation in all parts of the globe, is becoming one of the locomotives, one of the main creators of a multipolar world order, and the number of appeals to BRICS with a request to establish relations or to join BRICS has already exceeded 30. Can you imagine, guys? 30 countries applying, it will be more. Moreover, there are well-known countries that play an important role in their respective regions, and probably the leaders who think about the future of their countries within the framework of this emerging multipolar world order, they do not want to lag behind this process. And of no small importance is the fact that within the framework of BRICS, special mechanisms are being developed to increase the role of the states of this association and their partners in solving problems of global governance, including reform of the functioning of the so-called Bretton Woods institutions, the International Monetary Fund, so IMF, and the World Bank, where the acquisition by the BRICS countries and other like-minded countries of the necessary number of votes corresponding to the real economic weight is artificially slowed down by the United States and its allies. Just on this note, I think today we have the 18th of September. I think in the United States, Fed is going to announce are they lowering the rates, or I don't know exactly because I'm not an economist, but I think there's an announcement coming today. So just on that note. The same thing, the World Trade Organization is artificially blocking its reform, which will allow real economic indicators, real trading capabilities of each country to be appreciated. All this is artificially restrained. And of course, against this background, many are attracted by the fact that alternative payment platforms are being developed within the BRICS framework, which will allow trading, investing, and conducting other economic transactions without experiencing any dependence on those who decided to make weapons out of the dollar and euro. No one wants to find themselves in such a situation, and everyone understands that anyone can find themselves under American and other Western sanctions. So there is a process of collapse of those structures that were once created within the framework of Western globalization, when they convinced everyone that external values are fair competition, the work of the free market mechanisms, when they convinced everyone that the dollar is the common heritage of mankind. And now everyone understands that this is not true at all, and that these very levers and mechanisms of globalization, which were promoted primarily by Western countries, are used by them in an illegal policy of suppressing competitors by any means in order to try to maintain their hegemony, which is slipping away before the eyes of the whole world. Therefore, it seems to me that if we objectively look at the position of those countries that are turning to BRICS, then probably, if we speak in general assessments, all this becomes significant for these countries to determine their future course. And there you have it. I have to give you guys an update about the weather situation in Poland, which is still very serious. We have a state of emergency in many regions of Poland. Let me see, it's right here. Post-flood areas. Actually, before I read you this, there was a video. I came across many videos about this situation and the residents of those areas that have been so affected by those floods. Someone who was helping in the process of rescuing people and, trying to prevent more damage and just helping, said very good point. He had made a very good point. He talked about the electric cars. He said, in this case where we are right now, there is no use of the electric cars because there was no electricity. So just think about it. Think about it, guys. When situation like this, natural or created disaster, because to me this is created natural disaster, takes place, what you can do with your electric car, how you can even run away, or how you can help others when there is no access to electricity. Post-flood areas, the flood wave passing through Oława has reached 770 centimeters, which means that it is lower than initially assumed. The mayor of Oława, Tomasz Frisch, said Oława is located on Oława Rivers and the Odra River, 27 kilometers southeast of Wrocław. Wrocław is a very beautiful city in Poland. Used to be German city before it was called Breslau. Preparations for the arrival of the flood wave continue in the city throughout Tuesday. The information provided by the mayor shows that the flood wave will be lower than expected, but it might be longer and flow through the city for longer, because now Wrocław is in danger. And about 700 soldiers and residents in Wrocław strengthened the flood embankments in the area that is necessary to secure a section about 2 kilometers long, and in some places a height of those embankments made of sandbags might reach up to 1.5 meters. As for Wrocław, I don't have good forecasts. We are currently monitoring the situation in Oława, where the culmination of the flood wave is expected tonight. The expected height over 7 meters, and the water is rising. This is the latest forecast by the hydrologist who is being interviewed by Wirtualna Polska. The culmination of this flood is expected on the afternoon of September 19th, that is tomorrow on Thursday. Yesterday, the water increase exceeded the alarm level. So situation is really serious. I know many of you don't know the name of those cities, but I just wanted to give you some numbers with this. I think at least 2 people have died. I don't know the number of how many people have been evacuated, how many people lost their homes, their belongings, their businesses. It's really bad, guys. This is not a joke. It's really bad. It's affecting so many regions, and it will take a long time for this to recover and be, I mean, you know, psychologically, how many people recover from this. Update from Ukraine, everyone. Let me find this. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, Russian forces have taken control of a new town in Ukraine, Donbas region. In a video shared by Russian news agency RIA Novosti, Russian forces can be seen taking down Ukrainian flags to fly their own at the mine on the outskirts of Ukrainsk town. Russian media indicated that forces are now rampaging into Hirnik, I think you say, and Sierdowe towns to complete their takeover of Donbas, which comprises of Lugansk and Donetsk regions. So this is the current update from Ukraine, and I will end this video here, everyone. The comment of the day from yesterday's video is one comment, and that is P. So many of you left P in the comment section, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday I've asked you to put in the comments that many times you are afraid to leave, which I understand. To put P if you support Putin and put N if you don't support Putin. And just look at the comments, over 700 comments. Not all of them with P, but I think about 90% with P. So the comment of the day today is P. Actually, P can stand also for peace and prosperity. Production, progress, people, many good things with P. Lots of love, everyone, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. See you tomorrow in another video. Bye, everyone.